This module will help you to decide what sort of leader you want to be. What type of leader do you want to be? It'll take you through a 4-step process, and if you do the process step by step, it'll help you to formulate what this is. Right, this is the plan. You're going to start off by identifying what got you to where you are today. Next thing, you're going to look at examples of leaders that you truly respect, people that you really admire, and see what it is in them that you'd like to see in yourself. Then you look at the values. These are the values that you want to live by as a leader. Finally, all of the above will be summarized into a single leadership vision. Right, step 1, what got me here? Right, this is what we're going to do. First of all, gather the key lessons of your leadership journey so far, the things that have impacted on your life. From that, summarize what the key messages are, and then conclude how this has shaped you as a leader. Your leadership journey started a long time ago. A lot of the things that we do as leaders today are things that have actually impacted on you from a very young age. So what are the defining events that have helped shape you as a leader? So start to think about it. There may be one-off events. There could be a period of your life that had a big impact on who you are today, or something in your life that has affected the way you are today. From that, select the 5 key events. So do this by brainstorming the events, get a piece of paper, write it down, just everything that you feel has actually had an impact on you. From that, select the 5 that have had the biggest impact, not just the positive stuff. You know, sometimes a failure can actually have a huge impact on what you do. Then for each event, expand on what took place. Then from that, capture what was the lesson that you learned. Finally, create 5 icons that will remind you of these lessons. Okay, so that's the plan. So to share my key learning events to give you a better understanding of this, my family, it's a period of my life, and growing up in a middle-class family, father, mother and sister, we had good family values. My dad was a real old-fashioned gentleman, lovely man, absolutely charming. The one thing about him that really used to frustrate the hell out of me was he was indecisive. My mum was dynamite, small package, full of energy and confidence. I was married young, so we were very young, and we had 2 children, a girl and a boy. I became a dad, and this really gave me an understanding of the meaning of family and family values. And throughout my life, I feel I've always been part of a very loving and nurturing family life. I went to boarding school at the age of 12. This was my dad's school, and that was really important to me. I mean, basically, I was put on a train at the age of 12, and 2 days and 3 nights later, I arrived at the school for the very first time. And I started off actually felt like an absolute outcast, because I was from another part of the area that I lived in, and as a result, I actually started to do things to be accepted. And this was escapades, it was being naughty, it was playing sport. And I really ended up enjoying my school years. Ad definitum finem was the motto of the school, which meant to a definite end. There's a school tradition, there's self-discipline, sport, and earned privilege. And it had a big impact on my life. One of the things from my school days, I've called that David and Goliath. I was playing for the under-13A rugby team. We were playing Bulawayo Technical School, and as always happens with kids around about that age, there's always one that's really huge, and this guy was absolutely a monster. And every time they chucked the ball at him, he just crashed through us and scored. It really annoyed me, and then finally I decided to crash tackle him, brought him down, knocked me out, and I became the hero. And I sort of never looked back after that. And I continued to take risks on the sports field, many injuries, including broken nose on the hockey field, plus lots of other things. So that's an impact on my life. Before I came to live in England, my last 7 years in South Africa was spent in frozen food. I worked for Tabletop, and then I moved to Irvin and Johnson. This was a 12-year period. It was an amazing period of learning. I learned how to lead. I had a lot of success, but I had some major cock-ups. Oh, I was very enthusiastic, filled with energy, and sometimes I drained those around me. I started off heading up finance, then took over planning, warehousing, distribution, buying, HR, and security. And I ended up with over 200 people in my large team. But it was a great learning experience. Total quality management was something I got into. I was asked to head up a failed initiative on total quality management. It was a huge challenge. For the first time in my career, I had no staff. Learning how to train others. I went on to train over 1,000 quality facilitators. I found ways to put fun into quite a dry subject. I had to do a lot of convincing people around the business to make changes, and I set up an extensive network of like-minded people. But, great learning years. Okay, so those are my events. Sitting back and thinking about it, what did I learn from them? From my family, I learned to live by values rather than rules. I hate and detest rules now, but I love values. Nurture those around me. That I felt nurtured, and I feel nurturing those around me was an important thing. Keep things simple, be down to earth in your dealings, make decisions quickly, and then move on. So that came out of my family life. From Plumtree, my lessons learned were learn to be independent and a free spirit, to never give up on something that you believe in. Aim high and believe you can get there. Be a leader, but take responsibility. Be firm, but be fair in all of your dealings. David and Goliath. Courage is unplanned. It just happens. Single-mindedness. If you believe in something, go for it. I enjoy being liked, which means I look to engage and delight people, but I struggle to give people tough feedback. But I do it because I have this thing in me where I want people to like me. I thrive on tough challenges because at the end of it, I know there's somewhere along the line, people are going to like what I do. So, that's part of a flaw as well as a strength, but that's what I learned from that event. My frozen food years, brilliant learning. Take people with you when you have a vision. Make it a shared vision. Empower teams to deliver great results. It's not just about you delivering a result. It's about the team. And have respect for everyone, respect for all. The greatest learning comes through doing things. And when you've got a problem, turn a problem into an opportunity. And at times ask for and accept help. Don't expect to be an island. The more you actually turn to people around you for help, the more you actually build this real team spirit. So great learning years. So TQM, lessons were getting results through others without authority. I didn't have direct responsibility for people, but I had to be able to influence them. Getting key stakeholders on board, that was something I learned a lot of. Learning to facilitate and coach people through change, and achieving change through champions. That's what I learned. So that's my learning over those events. Right, you should end up with something like this. My first icon, my family. Very much my family, growing up in my family today, my loving family, my children, my grandchildren. It's just a clear part of my life. My school, which had a very big part on my development. David and Goliath, learning to find courage in difficult times. My experience working for the frozen food business in South Africa, real good learning. And change, bringing people with you, hearts, minds, and having fun. So that's mine. What about yours? Are you ready now to do this exercise?